Hello my dear ones, welcome you to the 7th standard civics class. In this module, we can go through the chapter democracy. In this chapter, we will discuss about the different forms of government, democracy, its meaning, types and aspects, and rule of law. Let's start. You know, democracy is a form of government. Then, what a government is? A government is a body that runs a state or a country. There are different types of governments in the world. Which are the different forms of government? Yes, monarchy, dictatorship, aristocracy, democracy, etc. Can you say which is the oldest form of government? The oldest form of government is absolute monarchy. An absolute monarchy means the rule by a king or queen. A dictatorship means the rule by an unelected, all-powerful dictator. Both the monarch and the dictator hold absolute powers and are above the law, and they are not accountable or answerable to the people. Whereas democracy stands for people's rule. Now we can study more about democracy. According to Abraham Lincoln, democracy is a government of the people, by the people and for the people. That means the supreme power lies with the people. It also implies that a democratic government should work for the welfare of all the people. And remember that people's participation is very important for the success of democracy. Before discussing how citizens can participate in the government, we can see the different types of democracy. There are two types of democracy, direct democracy and indirect democracy. In direct democracy, the government is elected and run directly by the people. It may not be practical, especially in countries with a large population like India. Switzerland is the only country that follows direct democracy in the state level. In indirect democracy or representative democracy, people elect their representatives for a fixed term, and they, the elected representatives, form and run the government on behalf of the people. Most of the democratic countries are democratic republics because they have both government and the head of the state or president elected by the people. Thus, India is a democratic republic. Now we can discuss about the participation of citizens in the government. Do you know how can people participate in the government? Yes, of course, through the election, we also can participate in the government. At first, only property-owned men had the right to vote. By the late 18th century only, the modern understanding of democracy started to take shape. New Zealand became the first nation to grant equal voting rights to all citizens. Nowadays, most of the countries are democratic and have granted equal voting rights to all their adult citizens. Thus, when we are casting our vote in an election, we are indirectly participating in the governance of the country. That means the elected representatives take part in the government on behalf of the entire community. If we are not satisfied with the government, we can remove it in the next election, and also we can control the government. The policies of the government are bound to the public opinion. The case study of Nepal shows the movement for democracy and the success of the people. Thus, elections and public opinion are the two important tools of democracy. Then tell me, which are the important tools of democracy? Yes, elections and public opinion. The most important feature of democracy is the rule of law. Then, what is rule of law? It means all are equal before the law. That is, either president or ordinary citizen, rich or poor, educated or uneducated, there is no distinction before the law. It provides protection to individuals against social injustice. Can you say some social evils? Yes, untouchability, child marriage, etc. are examples for social evils or social injustice. In a democratic country, people make laws for themselves. In India, it is the parliament which makes laws for us. So, which is the laws making body in India? Yes, parliament. Similarly, the state assemblies make laws for the states. The basic principles of democracy are liberty and equality. It gives us not only political liberty but also economic and social liberty. Then tell me, which are the basic principles of democracy? Yes, liberty and equality. To establish complete democracy, there should be a democratic society and an economic democracy. Then, what is a democratic society? In a democratic society, all men and women should be treated equally and should have equal opportunities for growth and development. In other words, there should not be any discrimination. Next is economic democracy. What does it mean? Does it mean that all should earn the same amount or that all should live in the same type of houses? No, definitely not. It means that all should have equal opportunities to grow. That means to be employed or to set up their own business. In economic democracy, people have a right against exploitation. Equal wages should be given for equal work. Should not be any distinction between men and women. There will not be economic justice if wealth is concentrated in the hands of a few. Thus, a democratic government will be meaningful only if its citizens are provided with social equality and free economic growth. Dear friends, do you understand the chapter well? We can see in the next module. Till then, goodbye.